So what do you see from the buy side? I'm assuming that's mostly agencies, but probably also some marketers directly. What do you see in terms of their desires, their needs for digital/online video? And is it harmonized? Are there TV people interloping? Is it all digital people who don't understand the sight, sound, and motion thing? Is it a work in progress? What are you seeing on the quote-unquote buy side in terms of their intelligence and their expectations for digital video?
Well, I think that advertisers have been sitting on a great deal of data, a lot of great first-party data they haven't been able to make actionable up until this point over the last year, I would say. And they're getting smarter about how they're wanting to connect with their consumers. And they're realizing that they have the data and the necessary means to put the right messaging in front of them. So I think they're not only looking at connecting with the consumer in a creative way, but also, they're not going to show them a 30-second ad on their mobile device because you're going to lose them. So I think we're becoming much more sophisticated in that regard. The TV conversations are happening. Broadcast is certainly not going to go away. And I think the way to position video is that, it's just another means of reaching your consumer. And with millennials, aging, and getting older and utilizing media in a different way, we've got to be able to adapt and really reach them where they are on their devices. They're bypassing television.
How about on the AOL and Adapt TV side, though? How is that harmony or move towards harmony happening, right? You have largely a digital media sensibility where now a lot of it is more TV-like in terms of trying to take that digital proposition and make it more sight, sound, and motion oriented. Would you say that you, AOL, Adapt TV, and others in the quote-unquote selling and opportunity space have your respective acts harmonized and together thus far? Would the buy side say that?
I think so, because our content has become much more premium and much more engaging. There's certainly a demand for it. There's I think the growth in the last year was 19% more content views were available, but the demand for video spend was growing 56% year over year.
And where is that money coming from, do you think? Is it a harmony of television money coming into the space, or is it just a doubling down from the digital side of things that, hey, this video thing may be a more effective use of digital spend?
I think there's some dollars that are moving from broadcast, but I think most of it is coming from cable and from display, as people become much more desensitized to display primarily.
What are the biggest issues that you sort of see in your day-to-day about making the video experience better, more targeted? Is it the limited amount of inventory relative to, say, television? Is it the uncertainty of digital and TV people not sort of understanding how to harmonize their efforts? Is it all just green field and everything's fine, thank you, and it's just we can all go home, and just watch the money come in? What is the sort of state of the state right now? Is it bottlenecks, those kinds of things?
I think it's a combination of a few things. I mean, so much of it is still about education, and we're still in the early stages of video. I mean, video, quite frankly, is where mobile is today. It was a few years ago, and we've made leaps and bounds in growth where we are today, and we'll continue to do so. But I think that as we get smarter about how to reach our consumers, the demand grows for viewability, for ad safety, for reaching the right person at the right time, audience guarantees. I mean, there's a lot of constraints that we are putting on that inventory, and as the demand grows, it really affects the supply and supply curve and what you're able to deliver.
And from what you're able to tell, how much of the consumption of this digital video stuff is happening in places outside the desktop, right? So over the top and tablets and all these other devices and whatnot. Is that the majority of the activity, or is it still growing, or is it? I'm curious as to how the consumption is occurring from your perspective.
I think it's growing more so on mobile and tablet than ever. I mean, how many of you are ever without your phone for more than 5 minutes? I've got my mobile device with me while I'm watching television, while I have my laptop nearby. And it's interesting because you really start to think about ad efficacy. What's really impacting you? How are consumers, connecting with your brand? And it's interesting because AOL just did a recent study with Nielsen, and the release should come out this week in the press. but it was all about ad efficacy and attentiveness and being distracted by multiple devices or another human in the room. And it's interesting to see that, we tested mobile, we tested tablet, desktop, and TV. And TV was impacted the most with ad recall and efficacy. And in reaching millennials, it was 2.2 times the amount of broadcast spots versus online impressions.
That's telling right there.
That's really, really impactful.